Hi, it's Tuesday, the 23rd of July, and a day when, to a large degree, certainly with this first story, confusion reigns. And this is going to be a bit of an ongoing story. Of course, you realise that back on the 15th of July, we had a new set of visa exemptions announced. Not only were a lot of countries getting an extension from 30 days up to 60 days visa exempt entry into Thailand, they're also enlarging the number of countries from some 67 up to more than 90 countries. And this now gives citizens from a lot of countries the ability to arrive in Thailand with no visa, walk up to immigration and get a stamp in their passport which allows them to stay for 60 days with the opportunity to extend for another 30 days. Now, they'd have to pay 1,900 baht at an immigration office to do that. But this seems to have opened the floodgates to stories like this. Now, I saw this story yesterday. It was republished in ASEAN Now. Thailand's 60-day visa exemption unleashes unlimited entry by land. Now, to people that like to come to Thailand, or even if you're an expat, that's a life-changing headline that really poses a lot more questions than it does answers. Let's see if we can find out what it's about. And the article says 3 days, well now nearly a week, into Thailand's 60-day entry visa exemption, a tourist has discovered there are no restrictions on the number of entries by land in a calendar year. Todd Daniels, ASEAN Now's visa expert, reported that the tourist did 2 free stamp land entries this year, left Thailand, then entered the country again and got a new 60-day entry with no issues. And Todd's quoted as saying the immigration officer said entries are unlimited. So this is the first time that we know of that's been reported where a person has used the new 60-day visa exemption. And it appears to fly in the face to a lot of things we thought about the old visa regime, when you used to only, apparently, be able to get 2 entries in a calendar year on visa exemption. Well, maybe that's all changed, but maybe it hasn't. Let's read more. And this is about this particular tourist. First entered by land on March the 15th, received a 30-day stamp, later extended by 30 days until May the 14th. And he left on May the 17th and re-entered, securing another 30-day stamp despite a 3-day overstay. Would have paid 500 baht per day, valid until June the 15th. Then, after another 30-day extension, his stay was extended until July the 15th. Well, that's the history. What happened when he arrived at the border? Well, according to this article, this morning, which would have been last week, despite another 3-day overstay, the traveller exited and re-entered again, obtaining a new 60-day stamp valid until September. So according to Todd Daniels, this is a game changer. Unlimited entries by land. This is huge news for anyone looking to stay longer without the hassles of flying in and out. Now, depending on where you're living in Thailand, visa runs can still be quite a hassle. Some people who are retired here just like the idea of getting an annual stamp and just being able to stay here in Thailand along with their Thai partner and a pad Thai nearby. But if you do want to do a visa run, say from Phuket, it's not that easy. You've got to jump into a van, travel for 8 to 10 hours. A lot of people say that's quite an adventure in itself. You're hanging around the Malay border. That can cost 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 baht in itself just to get another stamp in your visa. But potentially these days that stamp is for 60 days. So it is, as Todd says, a bit of a game changer. Now, I did get somebody to clarify this with me this morning. And this person is someone who usually knows what they're talking about when it comes to visas. And they said the report should say the rule that limited free stamp entries by land to 2 in a calendar year is no longer in effect, and at this time there's no limit to land entries on free stamp 60-day entry stamps. Further, they said at this time and for the time being, it's clear there's no limit to the 60-day entries by land, and the limit of 2 visa-free exempt entries by land has been rescinded. Well, it's not as if it's been rescinded in the Gazette, but it looks like, at least for the moment, there seems to be quite a lot of confusion, and we'll be looking for these real-life examples of what happens with the new 60-day visa exemption. Now, if you can just stay for 60 days, get a 30-day extension, leave the country, maybe just cross the border and walk back across a checkpoint and get another 60 days and another 30-day exemption, and then keep on doing that, why would you want to be putting 800,000 baht in a bank and being forced to get health insurance for things like a retirement visa or all the other long-term visas, things like the elite visa? Why would you want that anymore? Why would you want to bother getting a long-term residency visa? So I think we do have to just have fairly cool heads at the moment and just wait for some more real-time examples of what's happening with the new 60-day visa exemption stamps. I'm sorry if that last segment did more to confuse you, but I think we need to be aware of what's being published in the media, try and dig down, find out from people who should know, check out some real-time examples, and then see how it actually works in the real world. We will keep you informed as soon as we hear any more about the new visa regime here in Thailand. Some fake news is about. Nation Thailand reports fake news alert: Thai police bulletproof vests not made of plywood. And a Sakon Nakhon police officer has apologised for sharing unverified pictures of so-called vests, which sparked claims of corruption on social media. And the Police Ordnance Division has dismissed rumours that it bought bulletproof vests made of plywood to siphon funds. And the division said no plywood vests have been bought and the procurement was done transparently. It also said that all bulletproof vests bought matched the standards set by the US National Institute of Justice. And the police officer from the Sawang Dandin police station had posted the photo of a Royal Thai police vest marked advanced armour as a hard ballistic plate type. And this photo was accompanied by another picture showing a cutout of the vest with plywood inside. However, it had clearly failed to check an announcement made by the Sawang Dandin police station a day earlier, saying that the photos of the plywood bulletproof vest shared by the policeman were fake. The station added the photographs were not of bulletproof vests used at the station. It also said the police officer had been severely reprimanded and told to explain himself to the public. What seems like instant dismissal might be more appropriate. Let's go to our next story. American arrested over murder of Australian in Krabi. This published in Phuket-go.com. And an American man is in custody in Krabi for the alleged murder of an Australian. This happened early yesterday. The arrested man's been named as 43-year-old American Randall Owen Johnson, and he's accused of fatally stabbing 35-year-old Australian Liam Michael Ross at Ao Nang Beach. It happened at the seashell sculpture at the southern end of the beach, and the Australian sustained a wound to his abdomen and was rushed to the Ao Nang hospital where he later died. And it's unclear why a dispute started between the two men who had reportedly been sitting together prior to the altercation and subsequent fatal stabbing. And the information from that article originally coming from the Phuket News. But this story is from Bangkok. ThaiPBSWorld.com reporting concerns raised over Bangkok billboard offering foreign passports for sale. And a Move Forward Party MPs raised concern over a huge Chinese language advertising billboard offering foreign passports for sale. And he noted that the billboard located at the Dindang intersection is intended for Chinese nationals. And the advertisement offers passports from numerous countries for sale at various prices. For example, 30,000 Chinese yuan for an Indonesian passport, 70,000 yuan for Vanuatu, 150,000 yuan for Cambodia, much the same for a Turkish passport. Just to try and give you some perspective, 100,000 Chinese yuan is similar to nearly 500,000 Thai baht. And the billboard claimed the passports are genuine and the application process takes about 30 days with an assurance of confidentiality. Payment, it reads, will be made when the passports are ready. But the MP said if the message about foreign passports for sale is true, Thailand may become a hub for transnational criminal elements seeking foreign passports. Meanwhile, a police officer said, I don't believe this, the billboard in question is not illegal per se because the passports offered for sale are not Thai. He claimed that selling of passports is normal in several countries. Nothing about Thailand there doesn't affect us. And an official from the local advertising agency told Thai PBS, that would be yesterday, that a Singaporean company contacted them to put up the billboard, adding that the agency did not thoroughly check the content of the message as the Singaporean company appeared credible. Just take their money, put the billboard up. Let's head over to Pattaya. And Pattaya songtaew safety under scrutiny following a tourist's fatal fall. In an accident involving a Hong Kong tourist falling from a songtaew on Pattaya Second Road resulted in serious injuries and later his death. And the driver of the vehicle has already been charged. It says the 48-year-old Hong Kong tourist fell from the back of the songtaew, talk about that in a moment, and he was seriously injured. Police contacted a volunteer rescue team to provide immediate assistance. They performed CPR on the man, rushed him to hospital, but he later died. And a 56-year-old witness stated the songtaew driver refused to stop and help the man, even though people were shouting for assistance. Instead, he says the driver quickly fled the scene. But Mr. Tongchai, the driver, said, I really didn't know that I'd caused a tourist to fall from the vehicle. Now, there's video of the incident, but because the man died, I've decided I shouldn't show it. But I've done a few screen grabs, and it's quite clear when you watch the video that he didn't fall from the back of the songtaew. It looks like he actually stepped off the songtaew whilst it was moving. This is the moment when the songtaew, which was doing maybe about 20 kilometres an hour at the time, he stepped off but fell immediately. It looks like he hit his head as he fell on the road. It was just moments later, a motorcycle driver stopped to help the man, and this foreigner also ran across the road to help him. The article goes on to say that they've charged the driver with reckless driving causing death to others, being a driver causing damage to a person, failing to stop to provide assistance, or failing to identify oneself to the authorities. Now, given that the Hong Kong man appeared to step off the middle of the songtaew onto the road, I'm not sure whether the driver would have seen anything at all. And the tourist police and the city police will call a meeting with songtaew operators to emphasise and establish measures for serving tourists to prevent such incidents from occurring in the future. A photo there of the man's wife talking to officials in the aftermath of that tragic incident. And with that sad news, thanks for joining us today. Please subscribe to the channel TNT, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.